What's good, y'all? I'm Cal, Deputy Editor of Complex's Pop Culture Channel, and today I'm breaking down 10 of the most anticipated movies of 2021. Now, one of the industries that got hit the hardest by the COVID-19 pandemic has been Hollywood, without a doubt. There's a reason why Tom Cruise went ham on his Mission Impossible 7 crew. Someone catching the coronavirus can suspend production, which can further delay the release date of a movie. But that also depends on movie theaters being open. A good portion of the United States has had their theaters shut down temporarily, pinning their hopes of reopening on the ability of America to distribute the COVID-19 vaccine to enough people. While Netflix, HBO Max, and Amazon Prime have been able to absorb some of the blow, there are still a number of huge films that are waiting for the day when theater business is back to some semblance of normalcy. All movie lovers can do is patiently wait for things to change, or for more streaming services to take the HBO Max route and drop theater-ready films straight into your living room. Today, we wanted to run through 10 of the most anticipated movies that are currently have a 2021 release date. So mark your calendars now, and let's get hyped for these films that will hopefully make us forget how frustrating the last year has been. First up is Coming to America. Murphy reprises his role as Akeem, heir to the throne of Zamunda. With his father, King Joffrey, bedridden, Akeem has to prepare for becoming King of Zamunda, but can't do so without meeting the son he didn't know he fathered. The film brings back Arsenio Hall, James Earl Jones, the old guys in the barbershop, Randy Watson, and many others back while adding everyone from Wesley Snipes and Leslie Jones to Tiana Taylor and Jermaine Fowler, who plays Akeem's son, Lavelle. With Blackish creator Kenya Barris on board to work on the screenplay and some of the heaviest hitters in the comedy game on the cast, Coming to America feels like it'll be the at-home streaming event of the year when it hits Amazon Prime on March 5th. Godzilla vs. Kong. Hollywood took over Legendary's MonsterVerse and crafted some massive monster movies over the last few years, including Kong Skull Island and Godzilla, King of the Monsters, all in preparation for this very moment. Godzilla vs. Kong, which hits theaters and HBO Max on March 31st, will feature the battle we've all been waiting for: Godzilla taking on the mighty King Kong. It's hard to piece together why Godzilla straight up attacks Kong while he's chained to a huge ship, or why they're even battling through cities with huge neon skyscrapers. But are you watching for complex storylines or these amazing visuals where two behemoths beat the crap out of each other? Make sure your soundbar is cranked all the way up for this one. No Time to Die. The 25th entry in the James Bond film franchise has been hitting delays since before the COVID-19 pandemic. Currently, it's set to be released on October 8th, and this film is going to mark Daniel Craig's final time portraying James Bond. There's a new 007 in town, though, with Captain Marvel star Lashana Lynch playing Nomi, a new agent who's taking on the iconic agent number. There isn't a ton known about this film right now, although Mr. Robot star Rami Malek is on board as the main villain, a terrorist who's bent on revenge. The cast also includes Ana de Armas and the living legend Jeffrey Wright, with True Detective Season 1's Cary Fukunaga in the director's chair. Next up is A Quiet Place Part 2. The Office star John Krasinski's surprise 2018 hit A Quiet Place returns for an all-new chapter. He's in the director's chair once again, working from a script that he wrote that takes us back to this future where vicious monsters attack anything that they can hear. His IRL wife, Emily Blunt, and their two kids, played by Millicent Simmons and rising star Noah Jupe, are forced to fight for survival in this horrific world. Surprisingly, the monsters that you never want to have hear you seem to be just the start of the dangers of this outside world. A Quiet Place Part 2 is currently set to be released on September 17th. Black Widow. We haven't gotten a new Marvel film since 2019's Spider-Man: Far From Home. Currently, the MCU's return to the movie theater, Black Widow, is set to be released on May 7th. Although that's also dependent on if people can even get out of the house safely to go to the cinema, or if the cinema is even open. The film, starring Scarlett Johansson, is a prequel that deals with Black Widow's spy cast, putting her in contact with associates she'd not seen in years. Black Widow takes place after 2016's Captain America Civil War and features a foe we've not seen in the MCU yet, the Taskmaster. It also should have some kind of interesting connection with the current MCU, which is the most important part, right? Venom, Let There Be Carnage. While not the best superhero movie to drop in 2018, Sony's Venom was a lot of fun, primarily because Tom Hardy brought it in his portrayal of Venom, housed in a film that didn't feel like it took itself too seriously. At the end of the first film, we got a huge tease at Woody Harrelson taking on the role of Cletus Cassidy, a serial killer in possession of an alien symbiote himself, turning him into the bloodthirsty Carnage. Due in theaters on June 25th, Venom Let There Be Carnage could be the film that will set the summer on fire. That is, if theaters are open. Space Jam, A New Legacy. Four-time NBA champion LeBron James brought back Michael Jordan's 1996 classic Space Jam, updating the original for the modern era. In this film, which is set to premiere on HBO Max and in theaters on July 16th, LeBron and his son Dom get stuck in a virtual reality by an evil algorithm played by Don Cheadle. It's up to Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes crew to help LeBron and his son, who's actually based on his real son Bronny, with help from NBA stars like Klay Thompson, Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, and more. Now, if you're a fan of horror, this is the film you should be hyped for. The 1992 classic Candyman is getting a much-needed shot in the arm by director Nia DaCosta and producer Jordan Peele, the latter of which has been on a tear, revitalizing the horror genre, especially for black folk. Rising star Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who recently earned an Emmy for his work in HBO's Watchmen series, plays an artist who appears to be haunted by the urban legend Candyman, which he came into contact with as a child. This film is said to revisit the original spirit, while also modernizing the tale with a gentrification angle. Candyman is expected to drop in theaters on August 27th. The Many Saints of Newark. Now, one of the shows everyone seemed to be binging during the 2020 quarantine was HBO's classic, The Sopranos. For many, it was the first time they'd even watched. For me, it's just what I do. My last few binges have been important, though. I've been prepping for this film, The Many Saints of Newark, which is said to be a prequel to the iconic series that's written and produced by Sopranos creator David Chase. Set in Newark during the 1960s and the 1970s, the film takes a look at the early days for the glorified crew, primarily through the eyes of Christopher Moltisanti's father, Dickie. We'll catch glimpses of Junior Soprano, Paulie Walnuts, and Tony Soprano's father, Johnny Boy, and even a look at young Tony himself, who is portrayed by the late James Gandolfini's son, Michael. Sopranos fans, get ready for this one because it hits theaters and HBO Max on September 24th. Last, and certainly not least, Halloween Kills. Michael Myers is back in the first of two sequels that were announced after the 2018 retcon of the Halloween series brought in over $255 million at the box office. Laurie Strode is on the run in this film, which seems to pick up not too long after the events of the 2018 film. What's interesting, though, is that Laurie's journey to stay alive brings her into contact with a lot of old friends, as well as introducing her to new ones, as everyone's just trying to stay alive. With word that the next film set to drop is titled Halloween Ends, we're betting that the mayhem quotient in this one is going to be super high, as Michael Myers will seemingly stop at nothing to take Laurie Strode out, and whoever's in his way. We can only hope that theaters are open when this one drops on October 15th. Well, there you have it. In a 2021 where we're still not sure if movie theaters are going to be open, those are a lot of movies that we can't wait to see. What I want y'all to do, get your pens out, get your Google calendars, mark your calendars, figure out how to stay COVID safe in a movie theater if you can, or just cross your fingers and hope that these movies are going to be hitting on demand sooner rather than later. It's your boy Cal, signing off.